Today, we're going to solve a very important problem. So imagine this, you're on a discovery call and the conversation feels good. The potential client seems interested. And then you share them what it would cost to work with you. And they say, let me think about it. Then you never hear from them again. Most coaches and consultants lose clients on discovery calls because nobody taught them a structure to make it easy for people to say yes. And that's what we're going to do today. Typical discovery calls look like this. You talk about yourself, you explain your service, you talk about how you're different, maybe you drop your price, and then you hope that they buy. You end up pushing, convincing, you feel like you're selling, and you're exhausting yourself. Nobody wants to feel like they're selling. I know you don't want to do that, and your potential clients don't want to be sold to. I'm here to tell you there is a better way. A story-driven approach where your prospect sells themselves on working with you. In this video, I'm going to share the exact 9-step framework that I use to close 80% of my discovery calls. You're going to learn what to say, when to say it, and how to help the right people say yes with confidence. So let's get into it. So first, why do discovery calls matter so much? You spend hours on marketing to get somebody to book with you in your calendar. You prepare for the call, you show up, and maybe they ghost you. I've seen service providers book 10 calls and close 0 calls because the structure set them up to fail. Great calls help people decide confidently by understanding their problem, showing them success, and then positioning your service as the bridge to those two things. This framework changes everything. The right people say yes, the wrong people filter themselves out, and you stop chasing. Think about it like when you visit a doctor. They don't open with, here's my treatment, it costs $500. They ask questions, they listen, they diagnose, then they recommend. And you follow their advice because they took the time to understand you first. Your discovery calls work the same way. You diagnose before you prescribe. So you want to stop convincing and start guiding. Be that expert who understands their situation, helps them see their future, and shows them a clear path forward. Now I'm going to walk you through exactly how I structure my discovery calls step by step. That first minute will set the tone for everything. You're going to say something like, okay, I'd like to set some expectations for our call because we have a lot to cover in a relatively short period of time. So first, I'm going to ask you some questions and really understand where you are, where you want to go. If I can help, I'm going to walk you through what working together would look like. If I don't think I'm the right fit for you, I'm going to tell you and point you in the right direction. Sound good? So right there, you have taken control. You have stepped into this call as the guide in the story. You've shown them what to expect, and you've given yourself permission to lead the conversation. Step 2, you're going to ask, so what's happening right now? Why is now the time to explore getting help? Why now? This uncovers the urgency and tells you what's driving them. Maybe they've lost a client, maybe they're burning out, maybe they saw a competitor pass them by. Who knows? Maybe they're struggling with parenting, maybe they are wanting to lose weight, maybe they're wanting to get that next promotion. Who knows? What we're doing here is really finding out if this is an urgent thing that they want to solve. In step 3, you're going to ask, why me? This might look like, out of all the people you could have reached out to, what was it about me that resonated with you? This question does 2 things. It tells you what's working in your marketing, and it lets them sell themselves on you. When they say, I loved your approach, I really loved how clear you were, I loved how confident you were, I liked the sound of your program, I listened to your podcast, they're reinforcing their own decision to work with you. You don't have to convince them you're good because they're literally telling you why they already believe it. Okay, so step 4, how do you get them to open up about their problems? You're going to ask, what's the most frustrating part of this situation right now? Then let them talk. Don't interrupt. Don't rush. Just listen. When they finish, ask, and how's that affecting you? What does that feel like day to day? You're really what I call pulling back the slingshot here. We're really getting into their struggle, getting into their problem. And you're getting to listen, and really hear what's going on for them. But also, they're reminding themselves about this problem, which is actually a good thing because they're going to be more likely to want to solve it once they're reminded of the problem. So the more tension you create around the problem, the more momentum you have when you talk about your solution. Okay, step 5, what does success look like for them? You're going to ask them, if we fast forward 6 months from now and everything's working, your problem has been solved, we've waved a magic wand and solved your problem. What does your day-to-day look like? What's happening in your life? Let them paint a picture for you. What's different? How do they feel? What are they doing now that they couldn't do before? I call this shooting the slingshot forward. They're imagining the life your service is going to create for them. This is the vision you'll connect your offer to later. All right, so moving right along. Step 6 is called echo back. All you're going to do is summarize what they just told you. Say, let me make sure I heard you right. You're frustrated by this. It's making you feel this way. And this is really what's at stake. This is what it's costing you. You're struggling here. You're frustrated by that. But what you're really wanting to create is this is when you repeat the things that they told you that they want, their vision of success. And what you really want is to sleep well at night. You want to wake up energized. You want to love your job again. Whatever it is they told you that they want, you're just going to echo it right back to them. And then you're going to ask, did I get that right? And they're going to say, yeah, exactly. And then you're going to say, is there anything that I missed? What this does is really help them feel heard. It also allows you to make sure that you're listening well and that you're really gathering everything that you need to gather from the call. Then you're going to step in just like the doctor would at the doctor's office, and you'd say, okay, if this is something that you're ready to solve, here's how I recommend you solve it. You're going to connect their problem to your solution. So you're going to say, based on everything you've shared, here's what I recommend. Then you're going to walk them through your service. Keep it simple. 3 parts works really well. First, we're going to have a kickoff call. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Then we're going to move into phase 2 of our program or project. And then step 3, you're going to end up here. So you're going to just high level walk them through what your process looks like. You're going to map your offer to their goals. If they said they wanted more clients, explain how your service will get them more clients. If they said they wanted freedom, explain how your service will give them that freedom. And then step 8, I call this step the temperature check. How do you know if they're ready before talking about price? So this is where you're going to ask, on a scale of 1 to 10, how does this feel for you? 1 being, this isn't for me, and 10 being, yeah, this is exactly what I need. If they say 8, you're going to go, oh, that's perfect. That's great. Okay, tell me, what's keeping this from being a 10? Why an 8? And they're going to go, well, my husband just lost his job, or my kids are about to get out of school for this summer. Who knows what they're going to come up with, but they might say, it might be an issue with your offer. Oh, the offer, it doesn't, I'm looking for something that will only take 3 months, not 4 months, whatever it is, they're going to share with you their objection. What a gift that you have just asked the right question to open up the conversation to hear their objections. That allows you to handle their objections in real time on the call. So you can let them know, oh, don't worry, we can start in the fall once summer is over, or you just handle those objections any way you can. Okay, step 9, how do you close the call? This is really about next steps. Once they're at a 9 or a 10 in the temperature scale, you're going to share the investment with them. Once you've shared the cost of your program, what I like to do is I like to give them 2 options. I say, here's the cost of working with me. And actually, I don't call it a cost. I call it an investment because it really is an investment in themselves. So I say, here is the investment. Here's what it is. You've got a 2 payment option and a 1 payment option. With a 1 payment option, you save $400, or we can break it up into multiple payments. Which of those options would work best for your budget? And they'll say, well, actually, I'd like to pay in full and save a little money. So that way they feel like they have agency and choice within the conversation. Then what you're going to do is take their initial deposit on the call. I know you're shocked to hear this, or you cringe about this part of the call, but let me tell you, they want to work with you. People like to spend money, especially if that money is solving an important problem. So you're going to take the initial deposit on the call. I always say, okay, we're going to take the initial payment now. So no rush. I'll just wait here while you go get your credit card. And they go get it, and then they come back. Sometimes they'll say, well, I need to think about it, or I need to talk to my husband. And if they do that, of course, they can take the time that they need. I'll email them a link and they can pay me on their own time. But I always give them the first initial opportunity to pay right there on the call. Okay, so let's dig in a little bit further to the I need to think about it objection. You can say, I totally understand. Let's get a follow-up call on the calendar so I can answer any questions that come up between now and then. Then offer a couple of times. I have Thursday at 2, I have Friday at 10, which one works best for you? And then schedule that next check-in call so it's in the calendar and you know you're not going to get ghosted. Okay, we've just been through kind of a lot together here, so I'm just going to quickly recap so it's fresh in your mind. Step 1, set expectations, take control of the call. Step 2, why now? Uncover the urgency. Step 3, why me? Let them sell themselves on you. What was it that resonated with you about me? Step 4, what's frustrating to you right now? What's the most frustrating thing about this problem to you right now? This is where you pull back the slingshot and really listen to their struggle. Then in step 5, what does success look like for them? Waving that magic wand in a perfect world, what is happening for them in their life? That's when we're going to shoot the slingshot forward and really paint a picture of a brighter future for them. Step 6, just echo back their frustration, echo back their success and their hopes and their dreams, and really just help them know that you're listening and that you've heard them. And then step 7, here's what I'd recommend. You're going to connect your offer to their goals. You're going to position your offer as a solution to their problem. Step 8, you're going to do a temperature check. On a scale of 1 to 10, how does this recommendation sound to you? 1 being not a fit at all, 10 being, yes, this is exactly what I need. And then step 9 is next steps. You take payment, you give them the payment option. And if they tell you they need to think about it, you schedule a call before hanging up. What should somebody do to improve their discovery calls? What I don't want you to do is memorize this. Just print it out, write down the steps, print it out, and keep it in front of you during your next few calls. I will tell you, I have been doing this method for literally years. I always pull up my cheat sheet so I don't have to think about it, and I follow the flow. It will feel awkward at first. I promise that is so normal. But by the 5th time you do it, it'll become much, much more natural. The best discovery calls feel like conversations where you help somebody see their problem clearly. You help them imagine the future that they want vividly, and you help them take the next step confidently. You're guiding. You want to be the Yoda. Let them be the Luke. Bringing it back to story here. Let them be the Luke and let you be the guide, the Yoda. Now go get some calls booked and close those clients. You've got this.